Hi everyone, I'm Nikki Haverstock. I'm a self-published author with I think 15 cozy mysteries up on Amazon, and it is my 5-year publish-versary. So it's my very first book was released roughly 5 years ago. It was actually 5 years ago on the 25th. If you actually look at the book, it'll say it was released on the 24th. Amazon backdates. Don't really know why. But I didn't intend to release until the 27th, which I think is today. Is it today? This at 27th? Yeah, it is. So this was my intended release day. I ended up uploading a couple days early because it can take up to this long, and then it was like instantly up. So anyway, and so I thought I would share some things. So this is a really big milestone. I'm celebrating by having crippling self-doubt and all that stuff. But I am really proud of what I've done. It's hard. My personality type is one to always feel like I should be farther, better, all that kind of stuff. But I thought kind of as a fun 5-year video, I would talk about 5 things that I've learned over these 5 years. I've learned a lot of things, but these are things kind of specific. So the first one is I didn't realize how hard it would always be. And what I mean is when I started, I knew nothing about creative writing. So I knew I had this huge hill to climb. But what didn't occur to me at the time was that that hill would always be there. There's always a new level. You are always pushing. I'm not someone who can say, well, this isn't very good, but it's good enough. Like, that's not me. I don't think, I have met people that are very happy doing that. That is not most people. Most people always feel like their dialogue can be wittier, their action can be more intense, their horror could be scarier, their love could be deeper, whatever it is, they're always striving to get what's in your head to match what's on the page. And there's always disconnect, and you try to kind of close that gap. So I knew it would never be easy, to quote Sheryl Crow, no one told me it would be easy, but I didn't think it'd be this hard. That's kind of what it is. And I should have known better because I've been a competitive archer for 20 years. And archery's never been easy for me. The better I get, the more I expect, the higher my standards are, the more I want my ideal, every single shot to be my ideal shot, more and more, do I expect it to always be in the middle, things like that. So I should have known. The second one is that people lie all the time. They lie for profit, they lie for notoriety, they lie. I don't know why some of these people are lying. I knew when I started, because I've been in other industries, that people lie to protect themselves. They lie to make themselves look better. They give bad advice, but I didn't realize how many people were so brazen, because I couldn't imagine lying like that. I'd be scared to death that people would find out, among other moral convictions, that it's wrong to lie, and why would I give people bad advice and all that, is the number of people who will just flat out lie, just say this is what happened and it's not what happened. We've all heard of people whose releases get fouled up by Amazon. There's some pretty good evidence that a small percentage of those people find it a convenient excuse when they don't release a book, when they just don't write the book and they fall behind and they're waiting on a ghostwriter. And they say it's Amazon's fault, and it's not. I can't prove it, but it's just kind of one of those things where sometimes something quacks like a duck and walks like a duck and swims like a duck, and you go, I'm pretty sure that's a duck. Anyway, there's lies like that. There's people who lie to sell you their class. There's people who lie by omission, saying, yeah, it's super easy. I made $100,000 this month. And they show you the report. What they don't tell you is that they spent $120,000. I kind of only started to piece this together. Some people would tell you in private because they didn't intend to lie. But then when the bills came up and then the money stopped or they didn't think it was lying, they thought everybody was, and it's not. I mean, it's technically it's the truth, but if you're trying to sell me on a course and you're saying I'm making $100,000 in royalties each month, the implication is some of that is profit. Anyway, people lie about stuff I've not. I don't even understand why. I guess it's just to protect themselves, make themselves feel better. Anyway, and I think every year there are more and more sharks in the water. When I started, I published 5 years ago, and I started before that, obviously. When I started, I was in a community where people helped each other because it was just the ethos. You help people, they help you. A rising tide raises all boats. There were people there who gave bad advice, but they really believed that bad advice. There are a lot of people who give bad advice because they're just mistaken, and they're not doing it to screw you over. They really buy what they're selling. And it was only sort of when I moved out of, it was a forum, when I moved out of that forum and I moved into larger forums, that I was just really shocked, because I was like, well, why would they lie? Well, who knows, but they lied. And so and I think more and more people are seeing, you know, the example of everyone selling shovels during the gold rush. Anyway, another thing that I didn't know is how pervasive burnout was. Once again, when I started, everyone kind of thought they had figured it out. If you just do A, B, and C, you can write 10,000 words a day, or 5,000, or 4,000 every day, and on and on and on. And burnout wasn't a discussion when I started, but roughly 6.5 years ago is when I first was like, joined Romance Divas, started Googling how to write a book and stuff. So it was very much like I went on vacation and I came back, and that's what I wanted to do. So I have a very clear date of when I started. And when I started, burnout of course is something we knew, but we didn't discuss it a lot. It wasn't discussed as now. It should be a part of almost any discussion, because what happened was all these people did this, and we discovered that we didn't have an unending well of creativity that was going to always be there no matter how you treated your mind and body. You have to be sleeping. You have to be taking care of your emotional, spiritual, physical, intellectual needs. You don't, you know, a well is this idea of just fills up, but you could empty it down and then you have no water, as our house we discovered here. But the idea is, that wasn't discussed when I was started. So I started in 2014, around March, April. And so we were just seeing a lot of people peaking. And so what has happened is a lot of people who were big names back then are not big names anymore. I'll go to that with the next point. But a lot of them burned out. And even on AuthorTube, if you look around on some of the channels and you really dig in, you'll hear people talk about there. I know that there's some people who have AuthorTube channels who've experienced burnout, major burnout, just maybe a creative recession where they still were writing, but they went down from, I don't even have a number, 6 books to 2 books to 0, 6 books to 0, something like that. So burnout is something that wasn't discussed a lot. The last one, the fourth one is the industry changes. I knew the industry would change, but I had no idea how much the industry would change. I think there was a certain attitude that people who had made it 5 years ago, that this was a forever thing. Sure, sales would go up and down, but they would never stop making it. You know, if they were making money to buy a house, they would still be making money to buy a house in 5 years. And that is not true. Like I said, a lot of people, that relates to burnout. A lot of people just, maybe the bar was raised or changed. So the covers that used to work no longer work. The genre that they were writing in, they didn't realize they were writing in a bull market. They were writing vampire fiction. They were writing, a lot of them were writing heavy-duty erotica, then 50 Shades, and I'm not saying it wasn't talent. It's just a matter of there's talent and there's luck, and when they come together, you're in a great place. And when the luck runs out, sometimes you find that, oh, there's a lot of, you know, and then there's more competition and all that. So I don't think, I knew the industry would change, and it was still a surprise the ways that it changed. And so things get harder. Unfortunately, I don't want to say, it's better to start now than it is to wait 5 years and be like, I can't not follow this dream. So if you're kind of on the fence, just go ahead and start working on your book right this second. But the industry's going to change. It gets more difficult. When I started, literally published a month after KU1 changed to KU2, where they stopped paying you so much per book. I think it was like $2 per book once they got past, I don't know, 20, 30%. Doesn't matter. Doesn't exist anymore to go into a page read. It's a more fair system. I fully admit that. But as someone who, you know, I could have made a lot more money. I would have made significantly more money if I had published like 2 months earlier or a year earlier. But we can't play those games because you'll drive you nuts. I'm just thankful I started when I did, because it would be even more difficult now. And then lastly, I want to end on a positive note, because it sounds like it's all bad stuff. I'm so thankful for the mentors I found along the way, the wonderful people. I'm meeting new people that are incredible people. There's people that I've kind of encountered for years that I'm getting, I'm finally getting a chance to know. I've had wonderful mentors, friends, support. You find people like that. You can find them on AuthorTube. You can find them in Facebook groups. They genuinely want the best for them, and you want the best for them. And you share authentically with these people, and you find encouragement with them. And I know it takes time. I know if you're a newer writer, you're like, where do you find these people? Trust me, it's still a struggle for me sometimes, even though I have a good platform of friends. There's times when I go, no one gets me or what I'm doing or whatever, because the chance that you're going to find friends that have a similar philosophy, a similar business plan, that write in the same genre as you, the subgenre as you, it's impossible. So you're going to find people that are in your genre. You're going to find people who have similar philosophies, and you're going to, that kind of thing. But also how much I would love writing. I knew I loved the idea of creating, but you find out things about yourself that you didn't know. You find abilities in yourself that you didn't know you had. You find ways of connecting with people. One really concrete, a lot of the things that I'm writing when I write out my business plan, my brand, I've always known that about myself. Did not know that I was fast-paced. I didn't know that I enjoyed action. That was something I discovered when I was like, do I have to have them sitting around and talking? And I went, you know what? No. I want to have them be attacked by bugs the size of horses. This is my space book. And I discovered, I'm like, I'm just going to write a book where we don't have long talks about the facts. I'm just going to have action. Just action and action. And, I'll have calmer moments, but, I'm just going to kind of, and it worked and people liked it. And I went, okay, not enough people liked it. Please go buy the book. But, you discover things about yourself. So 5-year publish-versary, I hope my next 5 years, I'm going to meet some of my goals, some of the new goals. I can be a little kinder to myself. I think I've made a lot of progress, especially in this last year, getting over a hump with expectations and things like that. So tell me how long you've been writing, how long, I want to hear all the growth. I've been writing since I was 8. I started taking classes when I was 18. I started joining all the deals. I want to hear it. Hit me up in the comments. Bye.